Hi, I'm Lauren Tusignan, the editor-in-chief of Jezebel, and I'm here at High Noon in Austin at the Jezebel and Pace Interview House. And I'm sitting with Nicole Lipp and Carlye Tamaren of Not Your Daddy's Films, which is a social impact organization dedicated to empowering and educating women and non-binary filmmakers.
Nailed it.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much.
That was so good.
That was so good.
So you are 2 of 5 co-founders. So yeah, first off, just tell us about your background, how you guys all came together, like just tell us everything. Everything from day one.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand it to Carl.
Well, I was born. Just kidding. So we are 5 multi-hyphenates. We're all directors. I'm also an actor and a dancer. And I started directing in about 2017 and writing. And really, well, we'll go for that first and then to the collective.
Yes.
I'm a former actor, don't do that anymore, but I'm a director and a writer. And I mostly do music videos, but I'm getting into the narrative space, developing a series, made a couple short films, and I think basically we were all like the 2 of us and our 3 daddies at home, Vika, Catherine, and Coco. Shout out, we love our daddies. We all made short films and wanted a way to screen them in LA, at home, where we're from, without waiting or depending on a festival. We just wanted a fun way to get a community together to celebrate our work. And we wanted to do it with other women and non-binary filmmakers, and we didn't see an opportunity for that, so we made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and truly this came from us wanting to screen our own shorts with other female and woman and non-binary directors. And we didn't know any. Like, we looked around and we were like, wait, why can I only think of none? Mm-hmm. So
where are the women?
Where are they? Yeah.
We know they exist.
Right.
We know we're all out here. Mm-hmm. We just wanted to all get together and support each other and brag about each other, I guess, showcase each other.
Yeah, and there are organizations that are amazing, like Women in Film, but in order to be a part of Women in Film, you have to already be in the DGA, in the union, which we aren't yet. Mm-hmm. So we sort of want to fill this space of like, okay, from 0 to 100, like how do you start? We know so many great people in this industry that are on one track or like just actors and are just told they can only be actors. And we really are trying to expand everyone, like, what everyone can do. Yeah.
And I think a big part of it really is to like emphasize, like, we are filling that gap because it was something that we wanted and couldn't find. Mm-hmm. And so we put on our first event and we were just like, oh, it'll be a fun way to show our movies, casual, no big deal. And it just snowballed. The amount of amazing women and non-binary directors that were reaching out to us, like asking when the next one was going to be or how to screen with us, it was just so clear that we weren't the only ones that recognized this gap and that it really needed to be filled. So here we are.
Yeah, it really started itself. Like, we've been, I feel like, playing catch up to this company the whole time because it just, immediately after the first one, it was like, how can we help? How can we support? Where can we, submit our films? And so we've really just grown organically from there, asking what the people need. Mm-hmm. Like, how can we help? And as we grow, they grow. Mm-hmm. Our community grows. So,
that's a really nice part about it too, is because the 5 of us directors started it and we're learning as we go. We're learning with our community. So when we ask the questions that we want to ask, hopefully that's the same questions as our guest and our audience and our community. And when they ask questions, we're like, oh, I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're really all learning together, coming up together, teaching each other. Like, Vika, one of our founding daddies, just got an amazing opportunity to shadow a huge TV director. And I think there's some people that might think, oh, I got this opportunity, I'm going to gatekeep it and keep it for myself. But it was like every day when she got home, she was like texting all of us everything she learned. And that's information that we'll get to like share with our audience. And no one said that like, oh, this is secret information. You know, it's not, doesn't need to be gate kept. It's, so let's share it with everyone so we can all come up together and learn together.
Yeah.
And so we can actually pump women and non-binary, you know, creators into the industry. Yes. Like, how do we actually fix the problem? And it's like with the education. So we've expanded to panels, workshops. We're building out a mentorship program. We're hopefully podcasts where like we ask the dumb questions so you don't have to.
Okay.
Eventually grants. Production company. Yeah. And so it's just really, I mean, we're basically a year old. And the fact
Only
that
a
it's
year old?
a year old.
Oh my God.
And it has, yeah, snowballed is the perfect word. It snowballed so fast. But it just goes to show you the need is there.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. And we have to charge forward.
Yeah, I do feel like the past couple of years there's been such an explosion of like women and non-binary creators who, like you guys said, were actors or dancers or artists who have all just kind of been like, we can actually make anything we want.
Well, I think it's really interesting, and I've said this a million times, and I've heard this a million times. As a little girl, I wanted to be an actor because I think there was something in me that like saw the movies, watched TV, was so obsessed with it, and needed to be part of it. But I didn't see any women directors. I didn't have it. I mean, obviously there have always been women directors, but I was watching, you know.
There was like one famous one when we were coming up. It was like Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know it was an option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it sounds so silly, but I just didn't know that I could do that. So my way to chase this dream of telling stories and being part of making movies and making TV was to act. And when I realized that wasn't working for me and that wasn't my dream, I had a really, I don't know, like a really kind of existential issue where I was like, I knew I didn't want to act anymore, but I couldn't pinpoint what that meant for me as someone who was still obsessed with this industry.
And you wanted to create and tell stories. So like, what is that pivot?
Exactly. And that's why like I'm so grateful for music videos because that was like I have a lot of musician friends. My husband's a musician. And it was just really easy to like have my first directing experience because I just had this like calling in me that I felt like that would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Randomly. And it changed my life. And like now that I am a director, like now I'm a full-time writer and director. That's my life. That's my job. And I've never been happier. Like this feeling of like when you know, and you're like doing what you're meant to do. It's like, but how many other like little girls or women my age who like grew up in that same era didn't know that they were allowed to be bossy.
Yeah.
And make the decisions.
And decide what they want to put into the world.
And also just like we really want to show that like you can learn to be a director. Like it's not, this like whatever.
You don't have to be friends with Scorsese.
Right.
Like,
although that doesn't hurt. But, it's like there are...
Let's be friends.
Yes, hello. But yeah, there are steps and you can learn. And especially like we want to encourage our community to, if you want to direct, try that. Like fail faster, do it faster.
Yeah.
Or if you want to be a writer or a producer, like there are just so many avenues that are unexplored. And we just want to show like you can do it. And do you have questions? Because we can all talk about it.
Figure it out together.
Yeah, and our events, like we really try hard to, we actually have a lot of like events at bars or screenings at bars, like we just want to make the atmosphere very chill, and we're always like, please talk to each other. Like we cannot do this alone. We literally need to hold hands and figure this shit out together.
Yeah.
And so that vibe is very, very important to us, like since the beginning.
Kind of on all of that, what were the films that affected you guys growing up or that changed your life or made you be like, I'm going to make something better than that?
Oh my God. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Wow. That's wow. You could have given me 10,000 guesses. I don't think I ever would have gotten to that. And that's one of my favorite answers I've ever heard.
I just like think that movie explains a lot about me and my taste. But like just these sort of like absurdist comedies that are still like very grounded in reality were such an influence for me growing up. Like like that and like Indiana Jones and like practical magic. Like I feel like those three things sort of explain me. Yeah, this like magical realism, comedic realism world. And
We need so many more movies like that.
we do. We do, and I have been making them, and I can't wait to make more of them on bigger and bigger scales. But yeah, and I think just like also women in the comedy space, like there's so much more to be explored. We were talking a little bit about Joyride for a second earlier, and it's so funny. The reaction to that movie has been so like, oh my God, that's crazy. And it's like, it's not. Like, women are gross and weird. Like, we're all goofy, you know.
Breaking.
It's
Women
chaos.
are gross and weird.
That's a great soundbite. It's a chaotic soundbite for you guys to use.
That's exactly what Jezebel wants. We just want to be like, women are gross and weird.
I need you to promise me on camera you're not going to take that out of context, okay?
I promise I will not take it out of context.
In the best way.
Yes.
Yes, we mean it as a compliment.
As it should
But
be.
it's just real, you know, and like I want to keep showing that side of us.
I'll never. Okay, my favorite movie of all time ever, the one movie that I've watched more times than I can count, is Wet Hot American Summer. And yeah, but that to me is like, that's just a movie that I'm not a huge rewatcher because there's just so much to watch. Like, why would I watch the same thing twice? That's the movie that I will, put on over and over again. But I think like, what's interesting is like, okay, so I'll drop that as my favorite movie, right? Wet Hot American Summer. I also like obsessed with Christopher Guest and like Best in Show and that flavor of comedy. Obviously, like David Lynch changed my brain chemistry forever when I, in 1 week in college, watched every single one of his works because I had strep throat and couldn't move.
I feel like that's a rite of passage for people in college. You need that one sick week where you're like, this is my David Lynch week.
I also, though, I actually watched every single David Lynch movie and every single Wes Anderson movie in that week.
Wow.
And the combination, while also like having really bad strep throat and like dying, was, I swear to God, like my brain chemistry changed permanently.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It should.
It
should.
Yeah. Yeah. And that really like, changed like my creative vision, if you will. Oh, that sounds so douchey. Sorry. But what's interesting, you might notice, all the films I just brought up are directed by dudes. And that's fine. We love dudes. We should always say, like, at Not Your Daddy's films, like, everyone's a daddy. Everyone's welcome. Like, we are not man haters,
Jezebel is also not man haters, contrary to popular belief. We support some men.
Yes, we support the good ones. And we also support the good ladies, We don't support bad people. Boo, bad people bad. But I do find it interesting that like my greatest influences, like Ruben Östlund is my current like favorite filmmaker. Triangle of Sadness just blew my fucking mind. Am I allowed to curse? Sorry.
Yes.
Have I been cursing the whole time?
Yeah. That movie was
unreal.
unbelievable.
And all of his movies are unbelievable. And so I guess my point is we have so many phenomenal male directors to learn from, respect, be obsessed with, like rewatch and rewatch and rewatch their movies and like, give our love to. And now, finally we're starting to see so many more women and non-binary directors like getting their work out there. And I just think about like in my most formative years, even just like in college or when I was a kid, we didn't have that. And so I'm really grateful that things are changing. I also recognize that like there's so much more work to be done. So that's why we're here, making things.
I would like to add the John Wick franchise.
I've never seen John.
Oh my God, I will tell you,
I've only seen John Wick 4.
Okay.
No context.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I would like to recommend the second one because it has no plot and it has some of the best action sequences I've ever seen in my life. So does this. I mean, they all do. But I am
John
a big
Wick 2.
Yes. Well, just
starting.
watch all of them.
Watch all of them. Okay.
In one sitting.
Yes.
Just one sitting.
That's crazy. But I am a big action girly. I come from the dance world, so I think that like movement in directing is definitely where I thrive. And I think a lot about too. So much of that has been directed by men, and it's been really interesting building my like short films that are action and just like how different it is, like just how we shoot action different from like a female perspective.
Yeah, totally.
Movie night.
Yes. This was a jarring thing that happened. So pretty early on in our screening series, which we do every other month, we screen about like an hour's worth of short films, all directed by, and music videos, all directed by women and non-binary creators. We wanted to have an action night because one of our other directors, Case, is also big into action. She's an amazing director. So we were like, okay, let's do a whole night of it. And the way that we could not find any, and this happened at our Halloween screening as well. Horror and action, there was none. And so we had to do a big outreach to be like, hey, does anybody know directors that have shorts like that are in the action space, in the horror space? And people came back and they were like, ooh, women directing action, that's so niche. And I was like, what? Like this is a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's not that the want isn't there. It's that there's like not funding, that's expensive, that's like hard to do and hard to like learn how to do. But so we were like, okay, this is an issue and we need to fix that. So we do a lot of like outreach and sourcing. People submit their shorts to us, but we like also just are looking all the time. So that has just been an interesting thing that we flagged, being like, now we got to fix this.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you for having
And
us.
follow Not Your Daddy's Films on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything.
It's at NYD Films.
Awesome. And what do
And-
you guys have coming up like soon? Anything?
Yes, we have our next big screening March 23rd in LA at a new venue that we're so excited about. This will be our third location that we're hosting our events at because we kept outgrowing the spaces that we were in, which is an incredible problem to have. But lots of our recurring guests will not comment, but they'll like note that, there isn't enough seating or like it was hard to see because we just couldn't find a space big enough for all of the daddies that wanted to come out. And so our new space is huge, really good views. There's going to be lots of seating.
500 to 600 people, huge.
Oh, incredible.
So daddies, come on out. Join us March 23rd in Los Angeles.
Fantastic.
And we have big plans too to like start expanding to other cities. So we really want to come to New York and start cultivating our community there. We have a lot like on Instagram, but just we haven't done live events there. So we really want to get into that. Also, if you or somebody you know has a short, please submit it to us. Please spread that word because we are looking all the time. We're programming for the whole year. And we just, we want to know you. We want to know who you are. And then also Instagram, I am Carlye Tamaren at the Carlye Tamaren.
And I'm Nicole Lipp at Flower Hits the Big Time. And that's a long story. You can DM me and I'll tell you about it.
Incredible. Thank you so much. And support women and non-binary filmmakers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.